Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be interviewing Elaine Parker herself in the Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4 movies, Brooke Bundy. Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be so awesome. She's had an amazing career, She was this very beautiful, elegant beauty back in the 60s, and then she became like a character actress later on. Well, she always kind of was, but she was this elegant, gorgeous beauty, and then she was this, kind of mother figure in 80s movies and stuff. And she's had an amazing career, amazing life. We're going to have her on today. She's the mother of my past guest, Tiffany Helm, who I've had on twice and is a good friend. And I can't wait. This is going to be pretty awesome. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm sunburned, it's called swimming, okay? It's very hot over here in Redding, California, anywhere between 100, 110 degrees daily in the summertime. And so I got pretty burnt yesterday. So that's why I'm a little red in the nose and everywhere else that happens to be covered right now. So, yeah, without further ado, I will be interviewing Brooke Bundy. And she's going to be calling me in just a moment. So this is my interview with Brooke Bundy, Elaine Parker, in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4. Hi, Brooke.
Hey, Tommy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fine. Where are you?
Redding, California.
Oh, okay. So there's no time difference. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So welcome to the show. I'm so glad you were able to take the time this morning.
Sure.
Yeah, I met you last year at Monsterpalooza in Pasadena.
Oh, that was a great show. Oh that show was incredible. There were, you know how big that not auditorium, convention center is, right?
Right.
People were around the block 3 times.
Yep.
3 times. It was just like, I was so blown away. And that was early, too. That was before doors even opened. And it was way, way early. So it was just incredible.
Yeah, it was insane. I didn't even get to meet Robert that weekend, but I got to meet him last weekend at a Comic-Con in Sacramento, and he was great.
Yeah, he is amazing. He takes so much time, and he cares, and so many of the fans really follow him, so he has conversations with them. He really is, he's a very generous person with his time.
Yes, absolutely. And you were very lovely to me. We talked about Tiffany and everything, not knowing that I was going to start this podcast and interview her twice. It was amazing.
That's so cool. That is really cool.
Yes. I love having Tiff on the show. She's got a dark sense of humor like I do, and we get along very well.
Yeah, she's really funny. I don't know where she gets it from, but she's really, really funny. And my grandkids are funny too, so it's a nice genetic trait.
Absolutely.
It helps you get through anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I get my sense of humor from both of my parents. They're very funny.
Yeah.
So, when did you know that you wanted to be an actress?
I didn't. I never wanted to be an actress.
So you fell into it.
I'm sorry, what?
You fell into it.
Yeah, I fell into it. I found that I could do it. I've been doing commercials and modeling in New York, and I went to professional children's school because I was a professional children. And in my class, there was Christopher Walken, among other kids that were famous, and he said that one of the people were leaving his play. He was doing a play called JB on Broadway, and since we were both, he's got green eyes, I've got blue eyes, but we're both blondes, and all the kids in this show were blondes. We all looked like variations on each other's theme. So he thought I'd be really good for the show. So I went in and I read for the late great Elia Kazan, not knowing who he was, and I got the role. So, and then it was just, it was a slow summer. It was just fun. And then, but I thought it was interesting. And every night I would sit in the wings and just watch the performers, Christopher Plummer, and I just like incredible performers, and just watch them every night, see what they did, see what they did differently, and the effect they had on the other actors. It was just, it was really an education, but it certainly wasn't anything I ever wanted to pursue. And then I came out to California, and I had a Broadway credit, and I was a member of SAG, and I was 18 and looked about 14. So it was like easy breezy shoe-in. I mean, that was like, it was the perfect situation. Then I just started to work, and then I found out I could cry on cue, and then it was like all bets were off. So it was like, I just made, that's the way I made money. It was my job.
That's amazing. Wow, you knew Christopher Walken back when he was Ronald Walken.
Ronnie, yeah. The only person that has ever said that is you, because and I keep his cover and call him Chris, but he was always Ronnie Walken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And so when you were like only 18 years old, I mean, you got to be on the Donna Reed show.
Yeah, I was on Donna Reed. I was Paul Peterson's girlfriend, so I was sort of a semi-regular, and just doing all of those shows, My Three Sons, all of those kind of comedies at that time that they're just fun to do, and just there wasn't the pressure that I believe is now. So they're fun, I mean, everybody has a good time. Everybody's, kind of like patting each other on the back, and it was just really cool.
Yeah, I met Paul Peterson when I was about 6 years old. He was doing autograph signings at my local shopping mall. It was part of the Nick at Night, old sitcom stars, autograph signings. And he was a very nice man. He looked like he didn't want to be there, like so many of them. But we got 8x10 signed by him, and we lost them like within a year. I remember. I tell anybody who gets autographs, frame them. Do not put them in a dresser.
Yeah, how did he pass? I can't remember.
Oh, is Paul Peterson dead?
Well, I thought you just said that he was. And I thought, wow, that's something I missed. Okay, so he's not. Well, that's good. That's a relief. No.
I meant to say we lost the autographs, not him.
Oh. Okay. That's really funny. Okay. So, but he's still alive and kicking. I know he's a child's advocate.
Yeah.
So he really is out to protect kids in the business. And they need protection to a degree, but having been a kid's agent, it's not what people think it is. It's not this awful, hungry mama, greedy, pushing their kid, blah, 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 taking their money, doing awful things. It's not like that. It's because the kid really wants to do it. Because I don't think, and there's always exceptions, but I don't think a kid can make it in the business if they really don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know when kids can be stubborn, and there's nothing that can move them. It's like, no. But most of all the kids that I've had, with the exception of maybe one, really loved being in the business. They just loved it. So, and sometimes the parents don't want them to be in the business. So it's not sometimes what a lot of people think it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen those documentaries made recently about the pedophile directors and producers in Hollywood and all these kids getting hurt by them and stuff. It's really sad, but like you said, it's not always that like that. No,
not at all. I mean, I let one kid go, this darling child, but the mom wanted her to be submitted for the role of Marilyn Monroe as a child, and how she was abused by her grandfather, and I would not submit her, and the mother was really mad at me. So I said, you're going to have to find another agent because I will not submit your child for this, because the kid, you can't submit a kid to be in a show that the kid's not allowed to see. You know what I mean? It's like, no, that's crossing a line there. Or it makes the kid wonder, hey, what does that mean? Or why is he doing, Because kids are curious. So it's like opening a door that doesn't need to be opened at a certain age. You know, they'll find out later, but I can't be part and parcel of, you know, having a kid thinking about things that they shouldn't be thinking about yet.
Certainly. But, you know, when I was a kid, I wanted my parents to take me to Hollywood, and I wanted to be a child actor and stuff. I'm so glad that they didn't let me do it. I'm so glad.
Yeah, because it's the danger is a different kind of danger as I see it. The danger is, chances are the kid, if the kid is even moderately successful,
Yeah.
The child is going to be making more money than either parent is able to.
Right.
I mean, for most parents, you know, you book a commercial and you could be pulling down some serious money. So then how do you keep the relationship with the kid and the parent in a parent-kid relationship? You know,
Yeah.
It's really hard when the kid is, you know, just watching your car and is paying the rent. It's really hard to say, go to bed. It's time to go to bed. You know, did you brush your teeth? So there's a whole other kind of complicated dynamic that goes on. And then the other thing too is when a kid, you know, if the kid has some self-esteem. So this really eats into low self-esteem, because if a kid doesn't get a role, the kid says, you know, and then sees the other kid that did get it. The kid thinks to himself or herself, if I only had red hair, or if I were thinner or fatter or taller, or whatever, you know, I would have gotten the role, because that's how kids see stuff. And they may be right, you know, I mean, they may have gone with a certain look, but it really doesn't help self-esteem at all.
No.
Anyway, so let's get back to the other subject. Yeah, I'm on my soapbox.
Yeah, so from Donna Reed forward, you ended up being on like every sitcom 1 hour drama and Western from the 60s, from Gidget to Ozzie and Harriet to Ben Casey to Rawhide to Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I remember you were on an episode of Run for Your Life where you played were you like dancing in a cage?
Yeah, go-go dancer.
Yeah.
Go-go dancer, yeah.
Yeah, you look like...
Ed Asner was, I was Ed Asner's mistress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look like one of those hippie girls you'd see on American Bandstand or Top of the Pops in those days.
Yeah, but a little bit more tardy.
Yeah.
more slutty.
Yeah. I can't believe they let you show your belly button on TV at that time too.
I think that was okay then. I think that they got to it was I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
They had like turned the corner. But yeah, that's right. My belly button. That was fun to do that show though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ben Gazzara, he was one of the greats.
Oh, he was wonderful, and he was wonderful to work with too. Really, really a fine actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with some wonderful actors. I learned to, you know, I can shoot a rifle on a horse
mm-hmm.
and a full gallop. Learned to do all of that, and duck incoming bullets. Yeah, so it was. I mean, I always had a good time. I can't remember. Maybe just a few incidences where it was like, oh my God, what is going on here? But overall, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it sure seemed like it. One of your first movies was Fire Creek, the classic Western with Jimmy Stewart and Henry Fonda.
Yeah. And Inger Stevens and Jack Elam. Jack Elam would bet on anything.
Yeah.
He'd bet on the next man who walks through that door is going to be wearing a red T-shirt. He'd bet on it.
Oh yeah, I heard James Gardner said that he would bet you that the sun won't come up if you give him the right odds.
Yeah, that's right. That's perfect. He was great, and he was so funny. And Jimmy Stewart was. He was like a king. He was like the most benevolent, kindest king in the world. He was just a lovely, lovely, sweet man.
Mm-hmm.
Just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I will never be able to say enough good things about him.
Yep, Henry Fonda. I heard he was kind of aloof.
Yeah, he was aloof. He was kind of cool. He stayed in his dressing room. Whenever he got finished doing a scene, he would go into his dressing room, and I think he often ate in his dressing room too. I think it just, that's the kind of actor he was. It was just, and his personality. So they were very different, but he was still very cordial and also very kind and just, very pleasant. Just that kind of aloofness.
Mm-hmm. And James Best from the Dukes of Hazzard was in it, and Ed Begley Sr.
Yep. It was really an incredible cast. I was really fortunate. And the thing is, when they really thought it was going to have a bigger impact because it was right during Vietnam, and it had that quality to it of the issues that we were facing in Vietnam. So it was so everyone thought it was going to have like this big impact. And what happened was Camelot, Warner's had done Camelot, and it was Camelot that got all the spotlights and everything. So it was kind of sad because I really thought that Fire Creek was a really interesting Western. I mean, I love Westerns. I think that they're amazing. So, and it is truly an American concept. Although it's it's good versus bad, blah, blah, blah. But it's, I just, cowboys and fighting and, the whole thing was really cool. But we were disappointed that it didn't have more of an impact.
Yeah. We're big Western fans in my family too. Mainly on my dad's side. He watches the Western Channel constantly, and he watches it so much. There are times when I just want to watch something else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have to have a little something else.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a Western Channel.
Oh yeah, it's been out for quite a while now, probably like 15 years or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's something to look for. Okay, thank you. That's good to know.
Absolutely. Then you got to star in the Young Runaways.
Yes. With Kevin, yeah.
How did you get that role?
Just auditioning. Trying to think of I had worked with a director whose name, I can see where he lived. He lives in Marina. His name, I'm sorry, just escaped me. But we had worked together on something else. One of those, maybe medical drama or something like that. So he wanted me to come in for it. And meeting the producers and everything. And then see how Kevin and I work together.
Arthur Dreyfuss.
I'm sorry?
Arthur Dreyfuss.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess, I'm kind of dim on remembering exactly the way it all went. But anyway, I did get it. And we had a good time filming that. We went to Chicago for like a couple of days to do some exteriors, which was fun. But it was a good show. It was way ahead of its time also, dealing with young people that run away from home for various reasons. I mean, that was sort of a big deal then. People were talking about it, but nobody was actually like making it into a story. So, and it was very, it was really, when you think about it, it was really kind of naive, thinking and everything, or writing. But it was still, it was a good movie, and it did have a message.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very bold countercultural movie at the time when Hollywood's studio system was changing, and Easy Rider hadn't come out yet, and the Manson family killings hadn't started yet, and ironically, a lot of the people who were involved in the Manson family were runaways.
Yeah, that's true. I never even thought about that, but you're absolutely right. I don't know if you watched the Manson thing with David Duchovny called. I can't remember what it was called. No. It was a series. It was so good. It was so good. The guy who played Charles Manson is a Brit, and he was stunning. Everybody was great in that. It was just some of the greatest scenes I've seen on TV ever are in that series. Mm-hmm. And I cannot remember the name of it, but I just it was binge time.
Yeah. When you got the role, did you think to yourself this was going to be your big breakout role and you were going to get leading roles and everything?
again, I always thought of them as just jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, here's a job, right? I need the money. I'm gonna get it, and maybe, you know, and here's another job. Oh, this is nice. You know, so yeah, it wasn't. I didn't have those. I just didn't think like that. It's just not in my realm of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Kevin Coughlin, who passed away very young. You worked with him again on The Gay Deceivers.
Right.
I thought you and him had very good chemistry in the movie.
Yeah, we did, and we became kind of nice friends when we were doing the movies. Yeah, his passing was just dreadful, absolutely dreadful. He was with a very close friend, and they were writing partners, because he was beginning to write a lot and write really good stuff. And it was like, I'm trying to think the whole thing. They were on Riverside Drive, I think, mm-hmm. in L.A., and there was like a mistake. They had to go back and get something. I mean, it was something like one of those weird, like, you know, oh, shoot, I forgot my keys, you know, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So they had to go back, and he was getting out of the car to go in to get whatever it was that he had forgotten. I think this is the story. And he was killed. He was hit by a car. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really sad. And his friend who was with him was, I mean, to this day, is, you know, just can barely even talk about it. And that was, I don't know how many years ago, 30, something like that.
Back, I think it was in the 70s.
Yeah, 70. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just really sad.
Yeah.
He was a sweetheart. He really was.
It was also one of Richard Dreyfuss's first movies.
That's right. It was. Yeah, he was always funny on the set. He was like really a great sense of humor, and just kind of like, you know, kind of a doofus, just like making jokes and pranks, and just, you know, and kind of an eye roll, kind of like, oh, there he goes. But he's the brother at the dinner table that everyone goes, here he comes, and enjoys him being there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, you know, he was kind of like, oh my God, but where's Richard? Is he here today? Kind of thing. Because we just really, really liked him a lot.
Yeah, he was the life of the party.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he was. Or he still is.
Yeah.
I was watching Jaws the other night. I mean, he was so good in that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he is great in that. And I saw him in that new movie, The Book Club. He was funny. He was only on screen for a few minutes, but he was pretty funny in it.
Oh, I tried to see that with my friend, and we got stuck there was a parade. We couldn't get into the movie theater. So we just went home. I was just really deflated at that. But she really wanted to see it. Was it good?
Oh, yeah. It was very funny.
Yeah, all those actresses. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, they were all great. And I really recommend it. And then Patty McCormick, who played the little bad girl in The Bad Seed. Yeah, I don't think any little girl in horror was as creepy and disturbing as she was.
She was wonderful. And that was the first time we ever saw a child being evil. Children were never evil up until that point.
Yeah.
That was really groundbreaking, really incredible. And I think it's because she's so pretty and so innocent looking that made it even scarier.
Yeah, because I don't even think that Linda Blair on The Exorcist or the little girl in Poltergeist, Heather O'Rourke, had that same impact. It's just my opinion. I think she was the first, you know, because she was the first one. I think that she was the scariest one.
Yeah, with Linda, it was very different because it was such a different type of role. It's funny, I never even think of the two of them in the same sentence in terms of like scary stuff. Because one had to do with, you know, supernatural and all that, and the other. But I think what made Patty even more scary is because it dealt with your average life. It dealt with a gardener. It dealt with, you know, humdrum stuff. that's how and when that turns evil, that's weird. So there were no special effects. There was nothing like that. Whereas with Linda, it was all special effects, and great actors. I mean, she did an incredible job. But it was a whole different genre.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then you did.
Patty's still a really, really pretty lady.
Oh, she is?
Oh, she's great. She's great. She's so much fun, and she just has this great sense of humor, and she's wonderful.
I hope she starts doing conventions. I'd love to meet her.
When I see her, I'm going to suggest it. I mean, she's the it girl. She's the first.
Yeah.
So I will suggest it.
Awesome. That'd be great to see her.
Yeah. I think she'd really enjoy it. She's very, very outgoing.
Mm-hmm. And then you did
like it.
And then you did a very memorable and perhaps even controversial episode of the Brady Bunch, where you and your husband adopt minority children.
Yeah, in a half hour with 28 minutes.
Yeah.
Three different ethnicities.
Yeah.
That was way ahead of its time. So, and it also came out when Seinfeld hadn't come out yet, but we were beginning to go into cringe humor.
Yeah.
So sweet humor, even though it had a message, was not really selling anymore.
Yeah.
So it was, that I was disappointed in, because I really loved the message so much.
Yeah.
And I just want to go back to book club for a second. I was really happy to see a bunch of mature, use the word mature, beautiful actresses getting those roles. That made me very happy. But it sure was white.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at them and I thought, wait a second, hold on. We need diversity.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really surprised in this day and age, and there's so many beautiful, fabulous actresses of color that would have fit right in.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I digress, but it bothered me so much when I saw the pictures. So,
Yeah.
and I think it probably would have done better if it did have some diversity.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Anyway, that's apropos of nothing.
Yeah, Mrs. Payne, the next door neighbor, she was racist like Archie Bunker at that time. And what's her name? Jackie Joseph was in the episode too. I had her on the show a few months ago. I was very surprised to get her because she's older now, in her 80s, and she was a very lovely lady.
Oh, she is lovely. She really is. Yeah, she's a lot of fun. That's great. I'm glad that she was on your show.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that I'm gonna tell my grandchildren about someday. If I ever have any children, I have to do that first.
Okay. You can borrow one of my grandchildren and tell them.
Okay. Then you played a teacher in the cult classic Explorers.
Oh my God, yes. But what happened in that, Joe Dante directed it,
Mm-hmm.
and I had this speech. It was all about nickel, the metal nickel. And those big charts that you have that have all the metal things on it, and then it has a formula, and it has remember those big things in science that they pull down like a shade?
Yeah.
Remember those? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was a science teacher, and I had to be pointing out, the properties of nickel.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had this monologue to memorize, and it was all science. And it was like, oh my God, how am I going to get through this? So I got the whole thing down, and he says, action. And I started my monologue. And blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah, nickel, nickel, nickel. And it was over. The monologue was over. And I fully expected someone to say, cut. But nobody did. Nobody said cut. So what you do when that happens is you just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm trying to figure out things about nickel that are scientific. Oh my God, I was like sweating now. So I go on and on, ad-libbing about nickel. Mm-hmm. And finally, I was at the end of my rope, and I said, and two of them make a dime. And he Thank you. So that was directors do that. They think it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joe Dante to me is a genius, and
He is a genius. Yeah.
I love what he's doing with the Hollywood Horror Museum. It's like it's in its early stages, but I'm glad he's doing that. You know, he got together with other directors and put together that, that traveling convention attraction, and they're trying to make it, into a permanent thing. I think that's great.
I haven't even heard about it. That's cool.
Yeah, they're trying to raise money for a permanent home for the Hollywood Horror Museum, but they're traveling around doing international horror conventions and doing it as a coming attraction pretty much. But they're
right.
But they're doing a fundraising for it, and I think that's great.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So I'll keep up on that. So thank you for telling me.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Because I've not heard a peep about it. But I'll probably, because I'm going to Phoenix the 13th, 14th, and 15th. Not to Phoenix, but to Scottsdale.
Oh, yeah.
Convention, Mad Monster Party.
Yeah, I wish I could go. Oh, my God. I got cousins in that area that I could stay with, but I wish I could go. Maybe next year I'll go, but, yeah, I would love to go to Mad Monster.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. But I'll ask around there because I'm sure, other people know about it. About Dante's thing.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't think everybody knows about it, but it is like a horror community thing. I know a lot. I'm sure a lot of people know about it, though.
Yeah. I mean, for all I know, they could be there. I just went to Birmingham, England, and that was wonderful. That was like wow. That was really incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So the international ones are just so much fun.
Yeah, they're a little. I mean, they're a little too much for me. I got metal in my leg from a car accident, and like being in those long lines that are like 90 minutes long sometimes, it's too much for me. So I stick to the littler ones like Monster Palooza, or I go to this one in Sacramento called Sinister Creature Con, and those lines are not as busy as an international one.
Well, also, I mean, the flight is 10 hours too, so you might have a lot of discomfort with that.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, for somebody who's young and healthy, it's like, hard. So, I mean, at times, I get like, I'm a good flyer, but I get really antsy at times with a 10-hour flight. It's like, And I don't like flying over water. I just have a thing about flying over water. So, but fortunately, you can't see the water because of the clouds. So I just know it's there. I know there's an Atlantic around here someplace.
Let me ask you if you remember this movie you did. It became kind of a notorious disaster at the time it was released. It was called Stewardess School.
Oh, yes. I love Stewardess School.
Yeah, I do too.
We were a dynasty of stewardess.
Mm-hmm.
And we all made stewardess little hand signals and stuff, and we always wore pink. And I think we only read books with pink covers, and we decided on that. So yeah, we had so much fun.
Yeah, I had Julia Montgomery on the show a couple times, and we talked at great lengths about it one of the times, and she told me that Columbia put all this money into the movie, and it only lasted a weekend in the theaters.
I didn't realize that. I mean, when I work, and then it's over. So and I'm on to the next thing. So I don't like. But I guess she would have been definitely breakout. So I'm sorry, it didn't do well. First I've heard of it.
Yeah, she said, everybody, all these big names that were in the movie, Donnie Most, Brett Colin, Randy Joe Sperber, Sandal Bergman, Sherman Hemsley. I mean, you got all these big names, and, this movie only lasts in the theater for a weekend. They're all thinking to ourselves, we're going to have to put, paper bags over our heads because it was one of the biggest disasters of all time,
Wow, I didn't know that. Oh, my God. I wonder why, because it's such a cute idea.
It was a good movie, yeah, but like, I mean, at that time, if you were in, a big disaster movie, it was going to be hard finding your next job, especially if you were known.
Okay. Interesting. All this is new. All this is new.
Yeah, I mean, I used to watch this movie on Comedy Central. It used to be on like twice a month, like back in the 90s. I mean, they played it a lot.
Stewardess School? Really?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, Stewardess School.
Oh. Let me ask you a question. How does this work? So we're on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
This goes to a podcast, right? I mean, does it go automatically? Do you have to edit it? What goes on?
I do edit it. Like if there's any unnecessary like silence in the beginning when I'm like waiting for the call, or like if a guest says something that they regretted and they say, "Can you take that out?" and I say yes, then I edit that out. But then I upload it on YouTube, and then I share it on Facebook and Twitter and all that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's because.
So how do I get this? I have a little podcast logo on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just go into that and download it or something.
You can go in if you have YouTube on your phone. You can go into that and find it.
Okay. Yeah, I do. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Then, of course, the role that you're probably always going to be remembered for is Elaine Parker in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4.
Yes, it's funny. I tell people this story, and I sort of forgot it. But when I did, because I never wanted to do horror movies, because I felt that some fool in some place is going to be sitting there in the dark watching it and say, "Hey, that looks like a good idea," and go kill people. So I thought, I don't want to have anything to do with that. But my dear agent, Lena, talked me into it,
mm-hmm.
and so I did it. I can't remember. I think I read for it, and then I didn't want to do it. I can't remember the whole sequence. But anyway, so I got the part, and I remember sitting on stage. We were shooting in downtown LA at some little stage, and there was a lot of hubbub over in the corner of the stage, and I thought, gee, I wonder what's going on, because usually, there's usually shooting going on. I mean, they have a schedule they've got to adhere to, but this was something else, and the work lights were on and everything, and I was just kind of watching, and it turns out someone had broken into the studio and stole Freddie's sweater. Now, he had backup sweaters, so it wasn't like the tragedy it could have been, but it was the sweater that he always wore. And I was sitting there and I thought, so somebody risked jail time, because that's pretty serious. Not the item itself per se, but the fact that you broke into a studio. That's serious stuff. So someone risked that to get the sweater. So therefore, I conclude I must be into something really big, because no one would do that for something not big. So it was like one of those aha moments, because I didn't know about 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was like, it was some horror movie that someone, I just didn't pay attention.
Right.
But then I knew that I was into something really significant. And, it just keeps going on and on and on. I mean, it's amazing to me. And the fans are amazing. They are the kindest, sweetest, most respectful and respectable people with memories that really are incredible. Ask me questions and I go, I don't know, beats me about my career. I mean, if they know stuff, it's just incredible. They're just lovely, and they're lovely here. They're lovely in the tours that I've done in Europe. It's just this trait that they have is just so wonderful. But it's just there's all the horror fans, and they people come over to me and they say it's generational. I used to watch this with my grandmother, kind of thing. It's like, oh, really? I mean, that's an interesting relationship. It's like, I can't imagine doing that with my grandmother. know. It's an amazing genre. But it is, I guess what I'm trying to say is when you think of the genre itself and when you think about the people that are attracted to it, they're like total opposites. Total opposites. Except possibly maybe the connection is the good versus bad. You know, it's so clear. It's so cut and dry. So maybe that's the biggest attraction. Overcoming evil, you know, overcoming the bad stuff in the world. So I don't know, but it's very interesting to me.
Yeah, I've only become fully aware of the huge success of it mostly in the last few years that I've been pursuing the biz and everything. I found out last fall that there's these two girls in Chicago. They have a podcast called Elm Street Radio, and they interview people from the movie, makeup, actors, and everything and stuff. I'm actually going to be interviewing one of them pretty soon to talk about from their perspective, you know, of how they became interested in the series. Because I actually think they're younger than I am. Because I'm 35. They got to be at least, you know, late 20s or something. And I'm just pretty, you know, astounded at how generational the series has become.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing too, because it wasn't CGI, and I think that's the thing that is also fascinating to people. With the head thing, we had to use green screen because I have blue eyes. So if we used the chroma key blue screen, it would have just taken my eyes out. So I had to use green screen. But I think that's one of the things that fascinates people too, that it was all special effects and, you know, having to make the head and having to, you know, and you know, you watch it now and it does look it'll look hokey compared to what we have or what we see. But but there's a certain charm to it also because of that.
Oh, absolutely. You know, 3 is my favorite, and it was the first one I saw. My brother rented it when I was only 4 years old when it came out. And,
oh, my God.
Oh, I was terrified after I saw the puppet scene in the hospital. That just
it's awful.
Messed me up. Yeah, I never got into puppetry, and people wonder why.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just, it was creepy, but it's actually my second favorite killing in the movie. My first is Jennifer's, you know, heroin scene. I love that, you know, and I interviewed...
What does that mean? Well, I guess I didn't die, so I guess you're off the hook.
No, I love your death scene. It's pretty funny. In fact, I used one of the pictures on here during my intro and stuff because I love how cool it looked. I mean, how did they do that?
They made a head. I had to get up. I had to do a mold.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that, and then they green screened it, and then took my body out,
mm-hmm.
so I could continue talking. So they put my real head on the fake head.
Mm-hmm. Was it uncomfortable?
And then they took the body out, and he just was swinging around by my hair. So it's, you know, and it was all, I don't know what they left in, but it was all ad lib. I remember saying, Kristen, you're such a pain in the neck. Or what else did I say? I've got such a sore throat.
Yeah.
I just went on and on and on with these stupid ad libs I was making up. Yeah, Kristen, you ruin everything. Every time I bring home a man, you ruin everything. It was really. But you know, the interesting thing about Nightmare is every one of us had our iconic line. So that was something that, you know, really attributed to the writers, the producers, the directors, that we all, I mean, like, whether it's, you know, if it's Andale, Kristen, get away from that GD house, or what was Jennifer's line. It's a great line. And everybody, you know, asks her to, you know, to write that when she signs autographs. And then Lisa Wilcox's character still lives. I can't remember what her line is, but anyway. But the point is that everybody had their special line.
Right.
So it was really interesting. It was interesting writing that did that.
Did you use anybody specifically as like a reference point for the character?
No, I just you know, channeled my inner bitch.
I think you're great in it. I hate seeing you play a bitch because you're such a lovely person.
Well, decent person to play a bitch. It takes somebody who watches bullies and stands up for the little man to play a bully. If you can't, a bully can't play a bully. So it's one of those weird things in acting. So because I've watched people be total bitches, so I know what to do. And we always have some of those qualities within us. Whether they're exposed a lot is another story. But basically, like I said, a bully can't play a bully.
Yeah, that's true. Who did you like better, Patricia or Tuesday, in the role of Kristen?
I'm going to be. People have asked me that question before, and the fact is that they were two different Kristens.
Right.
Really, really different. So it's hard to even, make any kind of comparison at all. They had totally different takes on that particular character.
Right. Tuesday was.
And I love them both. I mean, it was just. I love working with Tuesday. We became really kind of close after that. I adore her. Patricia and I, we just enjoyed working together and the exchange that went on between us. But I don't think we really had too much to do together.
Yeah, Tuesday had a lot more edgier take on Kristen, and yeah, I've had Tuesday on the show twice. She's like one of my favorite guests. She's so much fun. I love talking to her.
She's fabulous. She sang when we were in Chicago last year, and it was so incredible. She's got a great voice, and she's a great songwriter.
Yep.
But it was really funny because she was standing on the side of the stage, and we were all out there, all drinking and stuff like that. And I mean, for some of us who knew how well she sang, we were ready. It was like, okay, it's go time. But the rest of the audience didn't know. So, and she's so humble.
Yeah.
She is so humble. So she was just standing kind of in the dark and just kind of holding the microphone and kind of staring at the floor and just sort of like, tapping her toe and stuff like that. And then it was time, and she opened up her mouth, and it was like, look out. And everybody in the audience, suddenly everybody was quiet. It's that moment that actors just love, where everybody was like right there. And we were all thinking exactly the same thing. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
She is really talented.
She is. Her first album she recorded, that was my introduction to her when I was really, really young, and I actually had it on cassette. And yeah, I like her singing voice a lot.
Yeah. And it's not what you expect either.
No, not at all.
Yeah, she's really, really cool. I love Tuesday.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah.
Then you got to work with Rodney Eastman again on Beverly Hills Body Snatchers.
No, we did work together, but I don't think we worked. I mean, we were in the same movie, but I don't think we worked together. I can't remember. It seemed like we just kept missing each other.
Oh.
I think that's sort of. And the lead in that, what was his name?
Vic Tayback?
No.
Frank Gorshin?
I'm sorry, what?
Frank Gorshin?
No, maybe I have the movies confused. Yeah, I think I have them confused. But there was another movie I did with a similar title, and the guy died. And very, very young, very good looking, and a well-known actor. It was like just a shock, I think I have them confused, the movies. But I do think I'm correct in that Rodney and I didn't work together on that. I mean, in the same scene.
Yeah, you happen to be in the same movie.
I mean, that happens a lot. You're in the movie with somebody and you never see each other.
Yeah, it's pretty funny how that works out. But yeah, that must have been a funny set though, because you got Vic Tayback, Frank Gorshin, Art Matrano. I mean, those are funny guys.
They're very funny guys. I loved Art Matrano. I thought he was just just a riot. All of them, and all different kinds of humor too.
Yeah, and Rodney, I met him last year at a convention. That guy's a piece of work, I'll tell you.
Yeah, Rodney is Rodney, but he's always sweet, and he's always happy to see fans and just really gracious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
Then you played Jill Whitlow's mother in Twice Dead.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm getting it confused with. I don't know. But yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, Jill was one of my very first guests, and she is such a delight.
What is she doing now?
She lives in Florida, where she's originally from, and she's trying to get back into, acting and stuff like that. But occasionally, she's able to do a convention.
Oh, good, good. So now she does. What kind of conventions does she do? Does she? Is it horror?
Horror, yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, she's an absolute delight. I had a really pleasant interview with her, and we're Facebook friends, and yeah, she's very nice. Did you like working with her?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Did you like working with her?
I honestly, I don't remember that film very well. I don't think I worked for, I think I worked for maybe a week on it or something. It wasn't a long run. I think we shot it at one of those houses on Adams Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
One of those old houses that are so incredible. It had a ballroom. I mean, it was really incredible. Old houses that's falling apart. I think that's the one that I'm thinking of. But there was, I don't know, I'm just not clear about a couple of movies that I did. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Do you remember anything from Survival Quest?
No.
How about Riding the Edge?
No.
So when and why did you decide to quit acting and become an acting coach and manager?
Well, first I was an agent.
Yeah.
I just, it was give back time. I have been so fortunate, so incredibly fortunate over my life that it was time to give back.
Mm-hmm.
So, and one of the things I've always loved to do is watch talent, particularly with kids. I remember as a child, there was a show called The Children's Hour with Ed Hurley, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I was mesmerized. It was like Sunday morning. And I would just sit and watch these little kids come out and tap dance or sing or tell a joke. And I was just like, oh my God, they're so wonderful. And then, the little girls would be like with bows and the curls in their hair. And, now I would look at it and go, oh my God, oh, no. They would look like little pageant kids. And the little boys, of course, would be spiffy in their suits. But I think that somehow that made such a deep impression on me that when I decided to stop acting, I was talking to my manager about it, and he said, well, he gave me some choices. So these are the things you could probably do. And one of them was to be an agent, but a kid's agent, so that you don't go through, at a very beginning stage of kids' careers, you don't go through a lot of negotiations. Right. You can't start demanding things. Later on you can, but in the beginning, and so this would be, a new thing for me. So I thought, oh, that's good. So, and it was so funny. I became an agent, and it was like, okay, so, and I had mentors that were kind of like helping me along, and I had a wonderful manager who just kind of gave me all of her kids, and she had great kids. But you can't just be a manager. You've got to have the client has to have an agent.
Right.
So you can when you get to a certain level, or you have a lawyer. But at this stage, you need an agent that will get you out on on different things. So I started out, and it really, I took to it like a duck to water. I loved it, absolutely loved it. In fact, the thing is now it's so different because of the internet and everything. It's a whole different business entirely.
Right.
But then it was just so much. I had so much fun. I did crazy things to get my clients seen. And they would be seen. And they were booking. They were really booking. It was great. It was a great time.
Did you help out anybody who ended up becoming hugely successful?
Oh, yeah. I discovered a lot of people. So it was, but it was, that was always the fun part, to take somebody from doing nothing to doing something. It's one thing to get a client that already was a member of SAG and has credits and all that. That's always a great gift. But going the other way is really fun. I had one family, single mom, 2 or 3 kids, one of which was an infant, and they were living in their car. I won't tell you the kid's name, but he was absolutely one of my all-time favorite kids. Mm-hmm. And I booked him he started doing commercials. I mean, he was like this precious, adorable, darling kid, and everyone loved him. And he started doing commercials, and then I booked him in a big movie, and that went on for I think it was a 6-month shoot or something. It was one of those movies that just goes on and on. And they moved to an apartment, and she finally got a fax. Then we had fax machines then, I had fax inside, and it was, in a better car. Because, people would say to her, why don't you get a job? She said, what am I going to do? She said, I have an infant. Then I'm going to have to pay someone to take care of my baby. And that's all my salary. I can't do it. So I think, the situations like that where we have to think out of the box. If you have a child that maybe is talented, and certainly in this case, absolutely adorable, maybe the kid could make some money and bring some money in, Anyway, that's what happened, and they lived happily ever after. So it was really, things like that were just absolutely heartwarming. I had a boy that was had spinal bifida, and he was in a wheelchair and everything, and I got him an international Pepsi-Cola commercial. And it was like moments like that when you kind of, you just kind of get teary. You think, yeah, I did it. I got him in for this. And then what happened is he went for the commercial when he was going to shoot it, and he had stickers all over his wheelchair. Mm-hmm. And he had taken all the stickers off and polished it. And he showed up, and the director said, where are all the stickers? And he said, oh, he took them off. He said, oh, my God. Okay, so they had to send somebody out to get stickers for his wheelchair. But he had like Harley Davidson, all the stickers.
Yeah.
It was from Dodgers, and it was really cute. So I'm sorry, I have to go back on that. I didn't get it for him. But when the commercial breakdown came out, I was able to get him in for it. So, but he was the one that got the commercial, not me.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's beautiful. I love a story like that. I mean,
I have so many of them. It just makes you feel so good, that you're somehow contributing to something, that's bigger than Hollywood.
Right. And I'm sure you had clients that you probably had high hopes for, and then they ended up, getting out of the industry because, they just couldn't be defeated.
Well, this is for every actor and every actress. I used to watch America's Top Model.
Right. And
when Miss Tyra would tell somebody something like, you're going to have to cut your hair and dye it platinum, and the girl starts crying and saying, no, Miss Tyra told you to do that because she wants you to become America's Top Model. So when your agent tells you, honey, you've got to lose some weight, lose weight, because the agent is looking out for you. So I had a couple of clients where I would say, you have to lose the weight. And boo-hoo, boo-hoo. And I said, okay, so here are your choices. You can be the leading girl, or you can be the leading girl's friend. So you decide what you want to be. Because that's what it boils down to.
Right.
It's listen to your agent, listen to the Miss Tyras of the world. And I'm certainly not in Miss Tyra's category at all. But it's like when people know what to do to change and help you make money and realize your dream, then listen, pay attention.
Absolutely.
We're trying to help.
And then occasionally there's nonsense like, Barbara Streisand was told, get a nose job. She didn't do it, and look how she turned out,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There are things like that. But this is, it's slightly different, and also not. But I think also because she's a singer too, so she knows her nose, and what it provides for in her ability to sing. So it's and maybe if she had a nose job, I think her voice would be different.
Absolutely. Well, Brooke, you are so blessed, and it looks like you've had this amazing life, and I'm just so honored that you got to share it with me today on the show.
Oh, Tommy, it's been great. It's like I feel like I know you, like you've been in my house. So, but anytime, I would love to do this again, and I'll try to get a hold of Patty and talk to her about doing maybe doing your show, because that would be fun.
Oh.
Your podcast, and also to do some of these conventions.
Oh, that would be beautiful, Brooke. If you could have Patty email me and we can talk about that. That would be so fun. That'd be so great.
I mean, like I said, she's the girl. She's the primo.
And I hope I get to meet you again in person, because I didn't get an autograph or a picture with you that time, but I have a Dream Warriors poster that almost everyone has signed except for you and Penelope, that I hope to get signed by you two in the future.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to sign it.
Oh, that would be so great. Well, you have yourself a happy 4th of July. God bless you, and we'll be in touch about Patty and everything.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Have a happy, very safe 4th of July.
You too.
Okay. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Brooke Bundy. Ain't she a delightful sweetheart? Thank you so much, Brooke. Oh, my God, that just touches my heart. You were such a great guest, great storyteller, and I just enjoyed talking to you. And Tiffany is very lucky to have just a lovely, beautiful mother that is you. So, everyone out there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.